Hi y'all. So I'm gonna tell y'all a story about how I had a miscarriage when I was, well, really a stillbirth when I was 15 or 16 years old. So boom. So I'm gonna tell y'all exactly how this happened. So boom. So I'm literally 15 and I'm a sophomore in high school, and I it's like September. I turn 16 in November, right? Okay, boom. So this all started at the beginning of the year, my sophomore year. So I started dating this guy. His name, we're gonna call him Joe. So Joe, he is older than me. He's 18. And also, if y'all want a story about Joe, that could be a story within itself. But we're just gonna leave that at that right now. But yeah, so Joe was 18, I was 15. Y'all already know how that goes when you're with a guy who's like significantly older than you and you're like in school. But irregardless, so I had been with Joe. No, I had been friends with Joe since the beginning of the year, basically. So I had just met Joe when he was like 17. He had just turned 18. Basically, like throughout the course of us being together, because he turned 18 in like April. So boom, so boom, so boom. So me and Joe, I never had a good relationship with my mom, so I would basically run away to Joe's house and just sleep at Joe's house, and we would just watch anime and do stuff like that. Mind you, I was 15. So y'all, boom. This is what ends up happening, right? So one day I'm at Joe's house and I'm like, Joe, I've been feeling pretty strange recently. Like I just feel weird. Like I don't know what it is. And randomly, all right, before any of that, right? So not even before any of that, after, that's not important. Let me just cut that part out. But irregardless, so boom. So this is what happened. So, me and my mom. No, one random day in the summertime. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I'm all over the place with the story. But one random day in the summertime, I basically caught a really bad rash. Like I had terrible hives. I had a terrible rash, like all over my body, even on my face. And my whole body was like swollen, itchy, red, all that. And I literally told my mom at 16, I was like, I literally can't walk. I literally can't do anything. Like I literally can't function. Like I need to go to the hospital. Like I need to go to the emergency room. Like I have hives all over my body and I don't know why. And at this point, I really did not know why. So y'all, so it turns out, right? I took a Tylenol because I took an Advil because I had a headache or I had something going on. I really don't know. It was something. I had something going on. But basically, you're not supposed to take Advil or anything like that when you're pregnant. So I didn't know that shit. And also I didn't even know I was pregnant. But anyway, regardless, so boom. So we're in the emergency room. I'm getting this huge giant rash because of these things. Oh, also, let me just, before I even get to that part of me getting a rash. So, not even to the part of me getting a rash, but me getting to the part where we're at the hospital. So, y'all, tell me how my mom is going to hit me with well, we're going to take the train there, but we're going to say when we get there that we took a taxi. Even though I told her my feet were so fucking swollen and so fucking itchy, I couldn't even walk. My feet were literally in pain from how much I had scratched them and like how swollen they were from like that allergic reaction, like literally. So yeah, this is all to say that if y'all want a story time about my mom, I will definitely give y'all that too. But anyway, regardless, so let's talk about it. So boom, we get to the hospital, y'all. We're waiting for a good minute. You know how emergency rooms are. You get there, you wait for a good ass minute. Everybody around you is dying. And yeah, so I was there and I was dying. And I wasn't dying as much as other people though. So people they just let me be. Like they were like, girl, you're fine. But after a little while, they were like, okay, this girl is not fine. So boom, they admit me and they put me on this hospital bed and in this like room with a curtain, and my mom is there. And we're just waiting. We're waiting on them to check my vitals. They basically take my pee, my blood, all that stuff, all that good stuff. And yeah, the nurse runs away with all that stuff, and we're just sitting there talking, whatever. I think after a while, did I have an IV in? I have no idea. I genuinely can't remember. But I feel like I either had an IV or they gave me medication or something. I don't think I had an IV because I didn't feel weak. I just was like sick. Not sick, I mean having an allergic reaction. So yeah, but irregardless, so boom. So what happens is, I'm sorry for saying so boom, y'all. I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx, like, please. But anyway, regardless. So what happens is this. So boom. So the nurse comes back, y'all. And you want to know what this woman said? Y'all, at 16, she literally looks me in the eyes, and the lady is like, did you know that you were pregnant? And my mom is sitting, mind you, I'm laying down on this fucking hospital bed, and my mom is literally sitting right next to me, like 2 inches away from me. And she's like, oh, well, did you know that she was pregnant? Like, she turns to my mom as well, and she's like, did you know that she was pregnant? And we're just like, both like I just remember my mind completely disassociating and going blank at that point. And I was just like, dude, how is this even possible? How is this even happening? Like, how is this a thing? And mind you, this was a thing due to my own poor decision making and all this other stuff. But like, when you're a teenager, you're just stupid as fuck. So I'm sitting there and I'm dealing with the consequences of my own actions. Insert that clip of people being like, running away from the consequences of my own action. But so yeah, so then basically what happens is this. The nurse walks away from us, y'all, and my mom hits me. I mean, my mom is basically speechless at this point, but basically what she hits me with is this. She literally blatantly says word for word, and I remember this till this day, y'all. I'll literally write it out for you. That's how much I know exactly what the hell she said. But again, if y'all want a story time about my mom. But anyway, so boom, what she goes and says is, she's like, oh, I don't want anything to do with what you end up doing with this. I'm basically not gonna support you with this. I don't want nothing to do with this. You're gonna have to deal with this by yourself, basically. Like, she literally blatantly told me that at like 16 years old. And yeah, from that point on, I knew like I was just on my own. And not even from that point on, because even prior to that, like, she had just always upheld the same mentality with me of just not caring about me in the slightest, the way that she did for my brothers. Because my brothers were genuinely so flawed, like, to the point where literally one of my brothers, anyway, regardless, but yeah, my brothers were so flawed to the point where it was like she would excuse everything they did, but when it came down to me, she just hated me for anything. Like, yo, it didn't even take for me to have, let me get to that part. So guys, so boom, so then we leave the hospital. I leave the hospital obviously depressed, all these other different things. The hospital opens a case on me because I'm 16 and pregnant. They're like, oh, you need a social worker whether you keep the baby or you don't keep the baby. I didn't even know that that's like a HIPAA standard. Like, I thought that was like, even if you're like 16 years old, they're supposed to like keep it as a patient to doctor thing between you and your doctor, if you know it's something that personal to where you're pregnant and like your mom doesn't know. But anyway, so yeah, so boom, so what happens after this is I start meeting with social workers. They start asking me what I want to do with the baby, all this other stuff. And guys, at this point in time, I had already miscarried. Like, I was carrying a stillbirth in my stomach, and I had no fucking idea. So yeah, so I'm walking around with this baby in my stomach, having no idea that they already have passed. And yeah, so basically what happens is I end up deciding to get an abortion. But you need someone to come with you to go and get an abortion with you. I never had, ignore the background, I live in New York, y'all, but I never had my ex-boyfriend. He literally did not come to support me. He didn't even offer to. Literally, he did not even offer to. I don't remember him ever offering to. Maybe he did. Maybe my mind is like playing a trick on me or something. But I promise to God, like hand to God, I literally promise you, the only person who genuinely thought to support me, thought to like come with me, was my aunt. My aunt has always been my biggest support. She's my rock. She's my biggest support system. One day I will literally show you her. She is amazing. She is perfect. She's fantastic. She deserves all the best things in life. So she comes with me to this fucking depressing ass office filled with other girls who are waiting there to get fucking abortions. And yeah, like, yeah, it just is what it is. It's what it sounds like. It's what it is. So basically, before I had to get this thing, I wait for like hours and hours and hours and hours to get a sonogram. So they give me this, well, okay, I go in the room and the nurse puts the jelly on my stomach and she starts rubbing into my stomach, and I notice I don't hear anything. Immediately I notice I don't hear anything, and I'm like, okay, maybe the heartbeat is not supposed to come immediately, like who knows, like I have no idea. I've never been pregnant, so I was like, okay, my 16-year-old self, I'm thinking nothing's wrong, blah blah. So then the nurse kind of gets a little quiet, and she's just like, it's kind of weird. I can't really find anything. Give me 1 second. And then she's like, she keeps looking, she keeps looking, and then she notices that the baby is just in there, but like not viable. Because YouTube don't let you say that other word. So anyway, so basically what happens is immediately they decide that they have to do surgery on me that same day. And this was not like was this planned? Yeah, this was planned actually. So prior to this, I actually had an appointment scheduled to still get the surgery. The problem just was that I had never gotten a sonogram, so they just needed to do that prior to, you know, because they kind of needed to see like the size of the baby and all that other stuff. So yeah, so basically what happens after this is I go back to talk to my aunt. I tell her the situation. She tells me, oh, they're gonna have to put you in a surgery right now. They can't leave you like that. It's very dangerous for you to like be walking around like that with a baby still like in your system, especially if they've already passed, all this other stuff. So I was like, oh my god, like, is this real life? But yeah, but something about that being the case, that I didn't really have the choice in like choosing whether the baby gets to live, kind of like affected me mentally, but I didn't realize it at the time. So going forward, this is what happens, right? I give the nurses, no, first the nurses lead me back to this back creepy back room vibes, and they lead me to this room where I have to change my clothes, and I basically have to put all my stuff in this little biohazard ziploc, like my phone, my headphones, all that in this little biohazard ziploc. And then I have to put on this blue gown with like basically nothing underneath, around all these other young women who are basically either sitting right next to me on a waiting bench, like inside the facility, or like waiting to get surgery or waiting to get anesthesia, or yeah. So boom, so this was my first time ever getting anesthesia, you guys. And boom, after I give them my phone, everything, I literally am told to come, like they tell me to lay down on this like bed, this gurney. It was really like whatever, it was fine, it was comfortable, I guess. It was like at least 5 people in the room. The anesthesiologist was really nice. She said, okay, Elsie, we're gonna count down from 10. And she actually stuck the needle in my arm. She didn't put like a mask on my face, but basically she said, oh, we're just gonna count down from 10. We're gonna give you oxygen after you pass out. We're gonna take great care of you, all this other stuff. I don't know what it was, but from the moment she started counting down from 10 and I started counting down with her, I started panicking so much, like to the point where I was just hysterical, like actually having a panic attack. And I've never had a panic attack like in my life prior to that, but that was my first time ever having one. And yeah, also if y'all want story times about my panic attacks, I got you. But anyway, so yeah, so so basically what ends up happening is I pass out, y'all. I pass out. Surgery was great. Surgery went great. I wake up to this girl calling my name. I'm deep in a sleep. A deep, 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 deep sleep, y'all. And but I hear this woman calling my name, Elsie. 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 And literally I wake up and this lady, this nurse is standing next to me with this fucking juice box and this cracker, this saltine cracker. And I just see it and immediately I'm like, dude, I'm the hungriest I've ever been in my life. Like, dude, give me that fucking cracker, give me that fucking juice box. And mind you, the damn juice box was trash and the cracker was like mad delicious, but at the same time it was still like, and I think she gave me a cookie after that too. And I was like, yo, I need this cookie, like literally. And so yeah, I think she noticed like I was hungry, so she gave me an extra one. But then right after that, like literally right after waking up, she hands me all my stuff and she basically tells me like, okay, Elsie, it's time to leave. Like, you have to get dressed, you have to like put on this pad. She gives me this long ass pad that like she basically tells me it's gonna catch everything, all this other stuff, TMI, y'all. And yeah, like I'm basically on my way, y'all. So she basically tells me, we already gave your aunt medication you have to pick up at the pharmacy. She is still waiting for you in the waiting room, so you don't have anything to worry about. She's gonna be accompanying you home, all this other stuff, y'all. So I meet my aunt back in the waiting room, y'all. At this point it's been like 3+ hours of her waiting for me in that waiting room, literally. That woman was not my mother. That woman was not none of that. And yes, she sat there and literally had the patience to do that. And every day I'm literally so grateful to her for that, because the thing is I was 16 and I had no one. I did not even have my own mom. I did not have my dad at all either. My dad was like never in my life for like most of my life. No offense, Dad, I love you, but like I could at least, the reason why I could at least say I love my dad is because he genuinely has never like been on some, oh, I won't support you doing this. But my mom has just always, no matter what I've done, no matter if I went to college, no matter if I was a thought, no matter if I was a saint, no matter if I went to church, no matter what I did, she just never found it to be good enough. She just never felt like I deserved praise for anything I ever did. But anyway, regardless, so yeah, my aunt finally texted me home to her house, and I see my cousins and they're asking me like, what's wrong, like you seem weak, do. And even prior to this, like in the pharmacy when we were picking up the antibiotics, my aunt was like, yo, you really seem like so down, like you seem so like just everything. And it's so weird because till this day I think back on it, I'm like, was I going through like postpartum depression? But I really honestly can't tell you, because I literally was not even taking my own feelings into account at that time. I was really trying to like disassociate enough to just not process things. And that's how I cope with things. I genuinely do. I just genuinely disassociate until I refuse to process things. But yeah. But I finally get home to my aunt's house. I didn't even go home to my own house. I felt like healing at my own house wasn't even possible. I felt like I was not going to get the correct support there. I felt like things would just be worse for me had I done that. And so I finally go to my favorite cousin's house. But my aunt is just like, oh, your cousins are boys. They're not going to really understand like what you're going through. And that's totally okay. Like, you don't have to talk to them about it. You could talk to them about it when you're ready, but like I feel like right now is not the best time for you. And my aunt genuinely, like, she understood so much more about how I felt than I did at that time, because she genuinely realized I needed time to like heal more than I realized I needed time to like heal. And I'm forever grateful to her for that, because the thing is as a child, you really don't understand that you need to process things. You need to stop and really like know how you feel throughout a process to understand like what you're getting out of it, like the experience, like the learning experience you're getting out of it. So for a long time I didn't even like process that, probably up until I was like 20, 21, 22. simply because like a bunch of things that happened after that. But yeah, and even things that happened prior to that were like completely insane. But yeah, in case y'all wanted to know how my mom reacted after the fact of me getting the surgery and everything, she literally didn't care. She literally never asked me about it again. She never mentioned it again. She just always acted like I was dirty. She always acted like I was a slut. She always acted like I was gonna get pregnant again. I don't know if it's because she literally got pregnant when she was 14 years old. And it's kind of hypocritical at this point for her to be like, oh, well, I'm abandoning you and I'm not going to support you. But that's her decision, mind you. She's an adult. She can make that decision. But yeah, regardless, that's the story of how I got a stillbirth and how I ended up getting an abortion and how that went. If y'all want more story times like this, I promise to make them less sad next time. I swear to God. But it's probably gonna be very problematic story times, like how I got fired, when they robbed my house, literally having fake friends, shit like that, like literally. So, but for now, that's all, you guys. Thank you for my bad. See, I'm trying to talk fast, y'all. This is what happens when you try to talk fast on a YouTube video. All right. But thank you guys for watching. I love you. Thank you. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'ma holla at y'all. Also, hold on. Gojo.